Nope, not at all. Them claymores would not do that much damage. My name is David Harris. I was a Special Forces Weapons Sergeant in 3rd Special Forces Group. I went to sniper school and as well as Mortar Infantry Leaders course. Today we're going to look at explosions in movies and judge how real they are. He wasn't at a super high elevation, so his back blast was fine. He didn't have anyone behind him, so no one was going to be messed up by the rocket actually taking off. For this scenario, most of the rockets everyone's shooting is going to have back blast, which is just the fire or the explosion of the round taking off. So the more elevation you put, the more that fire is going to come out and burn your legs. Or if someone's right behind you, they're going to eat all that blast of the rocket going off. You can stand directly on the sides and shoot rockets like that. So the explosion shown in the scene hitting the helicopter is actually what it would look like. It wouldn't be some overwhelming, like a big fireball. Probably the reason that RPG was able to hit that is because it's just point fired, which means it doesn't have something it's actually locking onto. It's not locked, it's just basically like a bullet. I point it in this direction, I fire at it. So it's harder to maneuver from. I would rate Black Hawk Down on a scale of 1 to 10 for realism, a 9. They pulled in a lot of resources from militarily, guys that were there. Like I know they used Rangers to actually do the fast rope scenes. He pulled the pin and he threw it, and then you saw the spool kick off as it was going and everything else. Yes, it was accurate. Is there anything they could have done? No, honestly, you want to stay out of hallways, stairwells, and like you don't really want to deal with ladders and things that change elevation because it's a harder thing to cover. And yeah, the guy was watching it, but the dude wasn't even seeing, he just threw it down. Yeah, and that's all they have to do, even in a stairwell. Like, you can't really do anything if he throws a grenade down on you. So the typical hand grenade time is about 4 to 5 seconds. Kill radius is about 5 meters. And the radius of injury is about 15 to 20. Fused variants can give a F1 grenade anywhere from 0 to 13 seconds. And yes, you can protect others by jumping on the hand grenade to save your buddies. It's ultimate sacrifice, honestly. It's actually a guy did that when I was in Iraq in 2007. A Marine did that, came in his Humvee, dropped it off a bridge, and he dove down on it. I would rate this movie a 9, jumping on the grenade and how the explosion went. It was very realistic. Nope, not at all. Them claymores would not do that much damage. Basically what a claymore is, it's a 1.5 pound of C4 with about 700 to 800 ball bearings on it. And you blow it up and it scatters and can go out. And the kill radius is about 50 meters. They use them to go defensive. You were designed to actually like get in your patrol base and put those out so guys couldn't sneak up on you. And then the other way of using them was in ambushes. You open up with those because they're going to produce a mass casualty. It's not blowing up, taking out 2 buildings. Pellets aren't going to do that. When we were in the old days of wars, we used flamethrowers to go after bunkers. So the standoff of that was like 75 meters. From what I know of the quad tube rocket launcher, that weapon system was designed so that we can get more standoff from the bunkers themselves. They were designed to be bunker busters, where you could get more standoff. That was up to about 150 to 200 meters. So now the guy didn't have to run up there with a flamethrower and gas on his back on a bunker where they were getting shot at. The rocket launchers weren't designed to shoot at moving targets. They were designed for bunkers, a stationary target. But if you were in a pinch, let them rip. They weren't heat seeking. So they didn't have to pick up a heat signature. Just like we said with the RPGs, it's a point and fire weapon. So if anything's point and fire, I don't need, it could be used in any way I need it to be used. A blast from a grenade would not send 2 dudes doing somersaults into the air. They're not designed for that. They are, it's an area fire weapon, and honestly, those two dudes, because it's about a 5 to 15 meter kill zone, those dudes would have been dead on impact. They're gonna go up and out, and then that's why that 5 meters kill zone, if they're right on top of it within that zone, they're gonna get hit with a lot of fragmentation, which is just the pellets and everything flying in different directions. I would rate this a 3.
What's he doing?
I wouldn't do that, but yeah, okay. When you're attaching explosive to other objects, you have a couple of options. You have double-sided sticky tape. You put the tape on here, and then it's another piece of tape on the other side. So it's double-sided, so I can stick it. And then you have, the Claymore itself actually has 2 legs, prongs, that you pull down, and then they split like this. So you can actually have 2 legs and put it in and move it like a little bit up and down. Claymores weigh less than 6 pounds. You can put as much tape as you want as long as it holds, right? As long as it holds it up, it's gonna work. I would not use duct tape to attach any explosive to anything unless I was in a pinch and I had no other choices. It does look like an accurate explosion on the size and force. The guy who blew it up got messed up too, because it says, yeah, front toward enemy, but you're gonna eat some of that too. It's got a cone where it's 180 gonna come back towards you. So that's why you have to have the standoff that you want so you don't eat that overpressure and the actual concussion of the explosion. So him being jacked up too, yeah, I agree. I would rate this 6. And the reason why is because I honestly don't think that tape would have held up from the rounds impacting nonstop. I think he had 2 pieces of tape on there. You're gonna need a whole lot of that duct tape.
It's the root of all.
So the M14 mine is called the toe popper. A toe popper wasn't designed to blow a dude in half. It was designed to maim. Claymores, I'm trying to kill as many people as possible, as quick as possible. This is designed to maim one dude.
David, don't move.
The toe popper was designed for when the pressure is applied, not released. So we all walk heel to toe and roll our feet, right? So you hit your heel, you roll, and boom. So as soon as you put the weight onto the toe popper, it's designed to go off. Because if it was as simple as you stepped on it, well then the weapon system wouldn't work. When I was in Afghanistan, if we found something that we thought was a mine, the Charlie would come up, and then I would be out there with my security, and he would look to see if it was command detonated, which means someone's actually calling to set it off, or if it was actually it's self-initiated, basically. You roll over it. Us, we bring our trucks up because we had jammers. So just because you don't see a wire doesn't mean the dude can't call in on his cell phone.
Twice around your body. Boom. Like that. Come on, man.
So director Spike Lee actually pulled this account from a real-life Vietnam veteran that claimed this happened, but the events are disputed. That's not going to work in real life. The toe popper was designed as soon as pressure went on it. Let's throw that away. I'm gonna give you a rope and expect you to tie it around yourself without shifting any weight in any direction. That's probably unfeasible because you're moving. So once you start moving, weight's gonna shift a little bit. It should go off. So the first guy that stepped on the mine blew him in half. That's a big explosion, we would think. Couldn't have been a toe popper then, because the second explosion, shouldn't you get some of that? We didn't pull you that far off. It had to be 2 different type of mines because it's not enough. A toe popper wasn't designed to blow a dude in half. I would rate this a 4 because I don't believe that you could be yanked off the toe popper because it wasn't designed to go off when the weight was removed. The size of that explosion, yes, it was the right size.
Hold with 2 hands, President. Here it goes.
The depiction of the explosion itself, I would say, yeah, that was realistic. The direction he held it in was probably the best, because anything else, it would have hit the car more. It may not set you on fire, but you're gonna feel it. I would stop the vehicle for a split second, fire the rocket, like I would have everything ready, and then soon as I'd be like, okay, stop, fire, and then we drive. That would make me the most accurate at that point.
I lost the rocket launcher. You lost? How do you lose a rocket launcher?
Because the heat was on his neck, so he dropped it. I would tell you if I fired it and then I felt the heat coming up on me and I'm not used to it, like I wasn't expecting it, I probably would let it go too. I would rate this 4.
Aim. Shoot!
Would that work in real life? Actually, yes. As long as that grenade is on that arrow and it holds onto it the whole time in flight, you're good. The issue would be how good you're shooting with the arrows, how fast the time in flight of how far you need to shoot that arrow. The effect you would have with an arrow is probably distance. The biggest thing would be distance, how far I could throw it. Because the arrow bow is going to get my arrow go further faster than my arm is going to get it. The grenade is not designed to set fires everywhere and it's burning. Now, if it's secondary explosions, maybe, but not like that, no. You threw the grenade blew up, and it set his gas tank up, and then his gas tank blew up. like, I would need all these things to happen, which could be extremely lucky, but I doubt it. A grenade cannot flip a motorcycle over like that. They're not designed for that. They're fragmentation, so it probably won't stop the vehicle. At best, you'll injure the people on the vehicle, and if it doesn't kill them, they'll just drive the vehicle off. So it's not designed for stopping the vehicles. I would rate this a 3, because all the explosions and all that stuff, it wouldn't happen. I've used 40 mic grenade launchers with the Mark 19 and the Mark 47, which are basically machine guns, but they're designed for 40 mic grenades. I've used those on top of trucks a lot, and those are made because of area fire weapons in mountains. You want to cover more ground. It's not designed to have that kind of impact on explosion. It's 40 mic. It's not a huge round. Like, you would need a bigger round, like you're talking Gustav. HE round is carrying way more punch than make it blow up. Or you're gonna hit that thing with like 12 rounds straight, a 40 mic. I've seen guys use them for breaking contact. You get shot at and you're trying to get away, so you may have it. So actually, they use that exact kind of grenade launcher, a 6-shooter, that you actually crank it, and he shot 6 rounds and took off so he could get some kind of cover fire down. 40 mic's not really designed to use up close, but he didn't just point shoot it at people. When it was time for that, that went away, he grabbed his rifle. His weapon manipulations was very smooth, very fluid. The reloading of the weapon system, he was on point with. I rated a 6. I don't think the explosion would have did that to the plane, like, unless it was, like we talked earlier, secondary explosion. I like the movie though. You're not outrunning that explosion. Like, the explosion itself would be almost simultaneous. Unless you set every single different explosion on a different piece of time. So you have time fuse and det cord. Well, chances are you're gonna set everything on det cord because you want it all to go. Time fuse, that doesn't make any sense to do it that way, unless you plan on someone trying to outrun the explosion. So if your helicopter is in the line of sight of a RPG, if you're 200 meters, it's coming hot. Chances of dodging it as a full helicopter probably gonna be slim, but if you could get on it early, yeah, and depending on where he was aiming, you might be able to get out the way. They'll know to do maneuvers, like they'll slow down, speed up. Then they also have flares they'll drop, because if it's heat they're looking for, dropping flares will hopefully get it off of you. If someone threw something in the middle like that, in between the rocket and the helicopter, probably blow up, but all the shrapnel and everything and all the overpressure still is gonna go into that helicopter. So you're not gonna get away unscathed. I would rate this clip a 2. The chances are that helicopter not receiving anything or not even rocking from the explosion, not even like losing itself a little bit, that ain't gonna happen. Flashbang grenade is designed to get momentum or get the guys back on their feet. Like, they know we're out there, they're pulling defense, we're about to go in. What can we do to get them to be like, what is that? Like, look over and be like, what is going on? Say we're using a 3-banger or a 5-banger, not a single banger, right? Well, he's hiding behind a dresser. Okay, we know he's behind the dresser. We want to flush him out from behind it. Throw that flashbang over the top of there. And let it pop on him a couple of times. He may come out of that corner. because there's no point of us going in if we can get him to come out. It went under the vehicle, which was going to stop some of the light, but the explosion was pretty intense. We wouldn't go in there if it was doing that. We always wore eye and ear protection. Ours was more like a flash, like pop, 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 because we could be in the room with it. Like this one, it seemed like it was an aggressive explosion to make them be more disoriented. Because you're not wearing ear protection or anything, you're ringing of the ears, your head would be more a fog, your balance, depending on how close you are to it, how much you took of the pressure of that explosion. When I was doing a lot of stuff in the CRIF, like when we trained there, we used 9 bangers, which meant it went off 9 times. So it went pop, 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 pop. So we don't want to just throw it, let it go off 9 times and then sit outside. Because now he gets back on his feet, like he's not stunned no more. As soon as he gets stunned, we need to be on top of him. I rate this 8.
Broken arrow! I say again! Broken arrow!
This scene portrays the Battle of Ia Drang during the Vietnam War, and the Americans were so overrun they had to call Broken Arrow for air support. When a soldier calls in a broken arrow, that basically means you're being overrun your position and you need as much air support as possible.
We have planes stacked up at every 1,000 feet!
Because they actually told the commander where to stack, how much he had, what he had. Like, those are real messages you would tell your guy. You don't want to send 2 planes at the same elevation. So you stack them. So that way they're flying in their own, they have their own lane that they don't have to worry about hitting other planes. You may stack them because of the weapon systems they have. Like, hey, I need this to drop before this. If you are being overrun, I've seen plane go offensive once, ever, much as it takes.
Get down!
You also have a thing with mortars and this called danger close. If I'm being overrun, at some point I may tell you, hey, I need you to drop this close. And usually when you're gonna drop this, like danger close, they're gonna ask for the commander's initials. We need someone that is in charge saying, okay. I rate this as about a 9. I thought these explosions were realistic because from what I've seen of drops, with the grass and everything like that, depending on what you were dropping, I'm pretty sure it's how it probably looked real life. My favorite explosion I watched today was Commando, just because I think it was over the top. The most realistic explosion I watched today was the Black Hawk Down, when they hit with the rocket. It seemed the most realistic from what I've seen on combat rotations. If you like this video, why not click on the next one?